The man who fears suffering is already suffering from what he fears. Now think about that for a moment. The man who fears suffering is already suffering from what he fears. Fear is an emotion that impacts our freedom. I think that fear is the cause, or at least the root cause, of most of our problems. Our pain, anxiety, suffering all come from viewing our life through a filter of fear. It jades our perspective and our response, and significantly impacts our lives. Fear can create this mental prison that locks us in from the inside. So for example, here are a few things that fear does to us. We fear commitment or abandonment, so we avoid intimate relationships. We fear not having enough, so we work harder at the expense of enjoying life itself. Many of us fear confrontation, so we don't speak up. Or we fear an uncertain future, so we attempt to control everything and everyone around us. It's a lot like me, having that control freak thing going on. And that's how the mind works. It's constantly telling us what to do, what to be, how to live, how to dress, even who we are and who we aren't. We listen when it tells us what's right, even when we know it might be wrong. And at times, it's misleading advice that can be psychologically damaging to us. Now, fear is not a bad thing. It's like joy or happiness. It's just an emotion, and it's a part of our human experience that just is. And there are basically two kinds of fears that I want to talk to you about. There's healthy fear and there's neurotic fear. Now, healthy fear basically just protects us from harm. Neurotic fear pretends to protect us, but in reality, most of the time, it's just misleading information. So neurotic fear speaks to us endlessly about everything that could possibly go wrong. Neurotic fear essentially contracts us. Think of your heart as like this key energy source of life. And that what fear does is it contracts the heart and shuts it down from that key source of energy. Fear tries to protect the heart from getting hurt. But that false sense of protection is really what's hurting us, because it's closing off access and contracting an important source of energy for us. So where do these fears come from? Essentially, they were created from our past experiences and the input of others around us. And they became a part of what we were taught to believe, or a part to watch out for in our life. When faced with fear, most of us try to wish it away or deny that it exists. When that doesn't work, we turn to coping mechanisms, like indulging in food, drink and drugs, gambling, gossiping, shopping, or other distractions that just waste our precious time. When left unchecked, these terrorizing mental thoughts rob us of our dreams and undermine the quality of our lives, to the point where 20 years later we can still be experiencing and suffering from the same fears. The good news is that these fears were learned from an experience, and we can relearn something different. Now, we want to learn how to separate the voices of healthy and unhealthy fear. We must become conscious of what our mind is thinking and strive to regain control of our life and its direction. So don't try to eliminate, resist, or fight fear. This only empowers the emotion, closing us further down, dragging us, and sapping our energy, and making us much, much smaller in the process. We must realize instead that much of what we fear exists in our mind. It's a made-up drama. It's a reaction. And the goal is to face and move through it. So take the first step beyond that self-imposed prison that fear puts us in, and try this for a week. First, be open. Invite situations that cause fear and commit mentally to resolving them. Second, be conscious of how you work with fear and strive to move through it and transcend it as an emotion. Identify fear and then examine its core cause. I call this one going down the ladder. Just keep questioning why you fear a certain nagging belief, and at the bottom of that, you might realize the root cause is really not worth all that mental energy you've been investing in it all along. Next, eliminate those things or people in your life that cause you to contract, while embracing those which support your mental and emotional expansion. Develop a vision that's much, much bigger than the fear itself. And you can meditate to step outside of your mind so you can examine its ongoing chaotic chatter. And you're going to soon discover that you are not your mind. Confronting and moving through our fears takes courage and introspection. Joseph Campbell said, "The part of us that wants to become is fearless." Your true self is where your fearlessness lives. As long as we are trying to do what other people want us to do, as long as we are afraid of what other people think, we will fear. The fearlessness comes when you make a commitment to be who you fully are and live a life that is more fully alive. Until next time, passion rules.